In November 2010, at an auction in Beijing, a silk scroll containing just 41 characters sold for an astonishing 308 million yuan, 33.75 million euros. But here's the kicker. It wasn't even the original. This was a copy of a work by Wang Shiji, the legendary sage of calligraphy, who lived during the Jin dynasty, 303 to 361. Measuring just 24.5 by 13.8 centimeters, it speaks volumes about the cultural obsession with Wang's art. Tang Taizong, one of China's greatest emperors, became absolutely obsessed with Wang Shiji's calligraphy. He gathered all the surviving pieces of Wang's works, ordered his scholars to study and trace them. Then, as if that weren't dramatic enough, he reportedly took a copy of Wang's work to the grave, literally went to the underworld clutching calligraphy like it was his life's greatest treasure. So, why was this scroll of written Chinese characters so absurdly expensive? At first glance, Chinese calligraphy seems like the purest form of art, a dance of brushstrokes that transcends words to become a reflection of the soul. It's been called a picture without a picture, a medium that conveys emotion, philosophy, and mastery without the need for shapes or images. But peel back the layers, and you'll see that this revered tradition wasn't just art. It was about power, privilege, and hierarchy, painted in ink. To understand, we need to dive into philosophy, power, and hierarchy, where Confucianism, Taoism, and elitism converge in the elegant brushstroke. Chinese calligraphy isn't just writing. It's a physical manifestation of thought, character, and philosophy. For Confucianism, it represented moral cultivation, discipline, and the pursuit of harmony, with a neat and balanced script symbolizing order, respect for tradition, and virtue. On the other hand, Taoism celebrated the spontaneity and natural flow of life, viewing calligraphy as a channel for qi, energy flowing from the writer's spirit into the brush, capturing the invisible essence of the universe in each stroke. Together, these philosophies elevated calligraphy into an art form. For calligraphers, mastering the brush could transform your life. In Imperial China, being a skilled calligrapher wasn't just about art, it was about climbing the social ladder. A flawless hand could earn you prestige, wealth, and even a coveted government position. Calligraphy wasn't just ink on paper, it was a golden ticket to success. But here's the magic of Chinese calligraphy. A single stroke can whisper anger, joy, or despair. It's like hearing a melody without instruments or feeling a painting without colors. That's why it's endured, not just as a piece of history, but as a universal language of emotion, speaking through strokes that don't just write words but tell stories. Yet while the elite inked their emotions onto paper, the majority of the population didn't have the luxury to pause and appreciate it. They were too busy trying to survive. Farmers, laborers, and merchants didn't have the time to master calligraphy or the money to invest in the four treasures of calligraphy: brush, paper, ink stick, and ink slab. Calligraphy, with its philosophical roots and spiritual undertones, was inaccessible to most. For the peasants working under the hot sun, it was a distant luxury. Owning a masterpiece by a famous calligrapher was unthinkable. Even literacy itself was a privilege, let alone the refinement required to appreciate the art of a single stroke. This divide turned calligraphy into a symbol of hierarchy. To be able to write beautifully meant you had education, leisure, and wealth, luxuries the average person could only dream of. Owning a piece of famous calligraphy was like declaring, "I am part of the elite. I have the time and money to enjoy this art." Even today, calligraphy retains its mystique. Scholars analyze the brushstrokes of masters, trying to decipher their state of mind. Collectors pay astronomical sums for famous works, treating them like relics. Universities dedicate entire departments to preserving and studying it. But beneath the reverence lies an undeniable truth. Calligraphy's value is deeply tied to privilege, both ancient times and now. For the peasants who could barely eat, the elite's obsession with the divine essence of a brushstroke must have seemed laughable. How could they care about the meaning behind ink on paper when they were struggling just to survive? Calligraphy wasn't just art. It was a badge of privilege, a reminder of the social divide. The rich owned it, studied it, and used it to flaunt their superiority, while the rest of the country was too busy working the fields to worry about the divine essence of a brushstroke, a world they could never touch.